Unboxing this amp, first we have the instructions, then we have our 24 volt 4.5 amp power supply. Next is our amplifier, and this is the smallest amp I've ever reviewed. It's the smallest amp I've ever seen too. It is tiny. On the front we have our control for RCA, Bluetooth, and off. We have volume adjustment and tone controls. On the back side of the amp we have our DC power in, our 4 speaker terminals. Next to that we have our RCA connections and then the pre-out. It is a fully alloy body as well. So I've been listening to this amp for a month, and it's a very simple amp to use for beginners. There aren't a lot of inputs. You only have Bluetooth and RCA, and it is Bluetooth 5.3, so it is a pretty recent version of Bluetooth. Another thing is its size. Like, this guy is tiny. This is very small footprint, and the fact that you have 100 watts per channel at 4 ohms in that small footprint is pretty impressive to me. You also have the pre-out, like I mentioned, for people who want to run an active subwoofer to your bookshelf speakers. The amp chips are Texas Instrument, so you are getting a good quality chip there with good amplification, low noise, low distortion. You have the VU meter on it, which I just love how it looks. I love watching it move when I'm playing music. That is probably one of the selling points of this amp, is having the VU meter. It gives it a very vintage kind of aesthetic feel to how older hi-fi and audio receivers used to be. I was trying to find some other products on Amazon to compare this to, and the closest one I could find is IEMA. I do know IEMA has a couple different products. They're a competitor to Fosi, I would say. I don't have any of their products, so I can't review them or tell you how they sound or how their build quality is. I love how small this amp is. I could even place this on top of my speaker if I was lacking space on my desk. So that is a huge plus if you're working in an area where space is important to you. The next thing is the price. It's $99 on Fosi's website, but I just checked Amazon and you can actually get it for $89.99 on there. So 90 bucks free shipping, 200 watts total, Bluetooth. It's hard to complain for that price. Then the VU meter. So you might be able to find amps around $100 that are 100 watts per channel, 150-ish watts per channel. But finding the VU meter built in with that is going to be a hard task. The biggest downside of this amp is the power. 100 watts will definitely get your system going, whatever you have, but there could be restraints. If you have smaller bookshelf speakers, anything under about 6.5 inches for the main driver, you probably don't have to worry about this. If you have tower speakers with 8-inch drivers, you're definitely going to want to get something with more power, like the Z83 by Fosi or the BT28 Pro. The BT28 Pro is a very similar version of this amp. It just has the ability to use a larger power supply, which means you can get 300 watts per channel with the upgraded 48 volt power supply. Now, if you buy the BT28 Pro, it's about $100. It comes with the 32 volt power supply, and you don't get the VU meter, but you get about 170 watts per channel. So you're almost doubling your wattage, but you're sacrificing the look with the VU meter. Last thing is it doesn't have USB-C inputs. So about a week ago, I reviewed this amp by Fosi. The main thing about this amp is you have a USB-C audio input. This is really convenient for me because my iPhone and my MacBook both use USB-C, and I can just use the charging cable to have a wired audio. I can use RCAs with this, but I think in the future it would make sense to see Fosi introduce a USB-C input as a standard. I would definitely recommend this amp for someone who has smaller sized bookshelf speakers. You don't want to try to use this on some larger speakers. It might not get as loud as you want. I have these guys, which are 80 watts RMS. I can only get about 75% volume before they get too loud, and I'm worried I'll break something on them. So this amp isn't weak by any means, but you're paying for the VU meter as well as the amplification. So just keep in mind, if you don't care about the looks, you can get Fosi's BT28 Pro and have way more power. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Over 95% of you guys who watch are not subscribed, so subscribe to the channel. It's free and it helps me out. In the next video, I'll be making custom DIY desk stands for these speakers, so stay tuned for that. As always, thank you guys for watching.